Real quick, I'm just giving y'all court updates, and I'm sorry I'm giving y'all court updates to start. Keefe D, who's still in custody, just had an outburst supposedly after prosecutors introduced some new evidence that they believe is damning evidence that's probably going to help them convict Keefe D. Okay, this was supposedly his outburst. I haven't seen this yet, so I'm playing this for the first time.
They're not only ugly on the outside, but they ugly on the inside too.
Dwayne Keefe D. Davis lashing out at prosecutors during another hearing about releasing him on bail.
And you just use something in the boxes. They just use something in the boxes. From 1996.
Those boxes contain a 2006 interview from a gang member who prosecutors say implicates Davis in Shakur's murder.
He makes that statement 2 years before any confession the defendant ever made.
But speaking out of turn, Davis says he believes those boxes came from retired LAPD detective Greg Kading, who interviewed Davis as part of the investigation into the death of rapper Notorious B.I.G. In a recorded interview, Davis told Kading what happened in Shakur's case, believing he would have immunity.
The boxes should not be allowed. They've been at his house for 15 years, and he do interviews, going in the boxes.
Well, Tuesday's hearing centered on that new evidence. The main reason was Davis's bail, the judge denying Davis's first attempt over concerns the man putting up the more than $112,000 was really a middleman. She also said she was concerned Davis could profit off the alleged crime, but Davis's attorney says no law prevents that until a person is convicted.
Right now, his son, myself, even he can enter into a contract with any media entity and make money on this case.
I'm wondering why they denied it then. Wack had talked about getting an appeal to getting an appeal that argument could be made. Clearly, they're not buying it. So supposedly, like they had denied Keefe D's bail, that he couldn't bail out. That he couldn't bail out with Wack because they're saying that he's going to make money off of the death of Tupac. And apparently they went back to court and be like, well, there's no law that says he can't make money off of it. So why was he denied bail? But I guess he was still denied again. I'm wondering if I can find the full thing of that. Anyway,
we're here today on.
They're not only ugly on the outside, but they.
And new at 6 from our investigators, prosecutors.
So this is a new thing that supposedly is going to get Keefe D like locked up for life. Because his whole defense, at least preliminarily, is that even though he hasn't made his full defense in the trial hasn't started, but apparently Keefe D's lawyers were saying, "Yo, he wasn't even in Vegas." So like they have the wrong guy locked up, and they were like, "Yo, he only said that he was in the car because he could make some money off of the story of the death of Tupac, but he was never in Vegas." Now, again, prosecutors would have to prove that he was in Vegas, and apparently they had some proof that popped up.
Prosecutors are disclosing more evidence in the Tupac murder case that they say implicates Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, the man accused of orchestrating the shooting. In new documents, prosecutors say they confirmed Davis's wife made a hotel reservation on the Strip at the time of Tupac Shakur's death. They also say Davis spoke to police.
Okay, so just to break it down, the nigga says he was never in Vegas. Prosecutors say they have proof of record of Keefe D's wife making a hotel reservation in Vegas. His wife wasn't in Vegas, which most likely means that reservation was for Keefe D. So that would put him there, right?
As early as 2008. A judge will hear arguments next week to determine once again if Davis should be released on house arrest.
Okay, and I guess that was heard today. All right. Also, what I feel like I'm doing so much goddamn court updates, but U.S. son Diddy. So apparently, in a it says Combs has been accused by the man currently. Combs has been accused by the man currently being prosecuted for the murder, Keefe D, of paying $1 million for Tupac's assassination, according to the court papers obtained by the U.S. Sun. It says it's not known yet if Diddy will be subpoenaed or indicted, but essentially it's saying that Keefe D is basically saying, or are trying to implicate Diddy in Tupac's murder. They're saying he was named 77 times in some type of document filed in court. So it's not known if he was subpoenaed, blah, blah, blah. Okay. They've reached out to Clark County District Attorney's Office for comment on Combs' alleged involvement. It's the latest legal headache for Combs. Blah, blah, blah. Let me see if they have anything more. In papers filed on Thursday, Combs is named 77 times by his various pseudonyms, including Puffy, Puff Daddy, Puff, and his real name, Sean Combs. He's first mentioned as prosecutors. Okay, I guess prosecutors mentioned first. Explained the deadly rivalry that existed between Combs' Bad Boy Records on the East Coast and the Death Row Records on the West Coast, headed up by Marion Suge Knight, leading up to Pac shooting. The documents allege that after the shooting, suspect Keefe D flew to New York with a Los Angeles police task force. So basically, Keefe D was Keefe D was a cooperant as well, if you don't know. So he was working with the LA police to try to pose undercover and try to gather incriminating evidence against Diddy and another gangster, Eric Zip Martin, over the murder. Okay. I think this is after he came to a proffer with the cops basically saying, yeah, we killed Tupac, but he was trying to say the reason why it was done is because Diddy promised $1 million, and the cops was like, all right, we'll go with that theory. How about you get him to admit that, he owes you $1 million for Tupac's death, right? It says the documents state the task force believed that they had jurisdiction to investigate Nevada homicide because the defendant asserted that the conspiracy to commit the murder began in California between defendant Eric Zip Martin and Sean Combs. Combs is mentioned again when prosecutors allege defendant has asserted publicly that he only told on himself and wasn't trying to provide evidence against anyone in his conversation with the police. However, this statement belies this claim, as he suggested that Sean Combs paid Eric Von Martin $1 million for the killings. The documents include transcripts and summaries of various police and media interviews given by Keefe D before his arrest last year, in which he repeats allegations about Combs' involvement in the murder. In one summary of a YouTube interview, prosecutors say when Sean Combs reached out to the defendant wondering if Southside Crips were the ones responsible for Shakur's death, by asking, is that us? Defendant, beaming with pride, answers yes. Combs is then named multiple times a part of a transcript of a surreptitiously recorded interview with Keefe D carried out by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police in 2009, and including the 179-page filing. This is one of his statements, I think, on Vlad TV. So I wish I never met Puff Daddy, period. I swear. He messed up my life. In the filing, Keefe D alleges he and the gang of Southside Crips were friends with Combs, and the hip-hop mogul wanted Suge Knight, and Tupac dead. Yeah, okay, so they actually do have the documents here. Wow. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Enough of that. Okay. Let's get on to some regular topics. What's good with y'all? I'm sorry for laboring you with all that, heavy court stuff. Somebody said Keefe D saying anything now. Well, it's a time to say anything now. They're accusing you of participating in the murder from 1996, and most of the evidence they got against you is your own words. Okay. All right, somebody said the brother snitching. All right. What are y'all talking about? Some people talking about Drake. What else y'all talking about? I guess